Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games of all time. It is one of my favorite games as well. It is a very special game to me, and I have very many fond memories of it. And it's a beautiful game graphically and story-wise. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is a third-person action-adventure game developed by and published by Rockstar Games. It takes place in 1899, towards the end of the Western or Wild West era. I think it's a very cool setting for the game. You play as outlaw Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vanderlyn gang. Running from the law, he realizes that he makes mistakes in life, and he finds out his true priorities and gains redemption in the end. First, I want to talk about the main story. The story of Red Dead 2 is in praise a lot and has won many awards. And it's praised for its characters, world building, and storytelling. The key characters in the story are Dutch, the gang's leader, Arthur Morgan, the protagonist, John, who's a family man and kind of like a brother to Arthur. There's Micah, who is the rat of the group. He betrays them. And Hosea is the second in command, and he is like a father figure. And it begins off with a failed bank heist. You're fleeing in the mountains, and you go to rob a train to get money, and you head to the Heartlands, which is in the Midwest, to set up a new camp. And Micah also gets arrested, but Arthur gets him out. The Pinkerton Detective Agency has been tracking your group throughout this, and you go down south to try to avoid them, but you find yourself in a feud between two rich families in the south. They run the town of Rhodes. Your gang gets close with them to find out they have like hidden money, and they find out that you are trying to do that, so there's a shootout in town and at their mansion, and they abduct John's son Jack. And you interrogate them after the shootout to find out that Angela Bronte has Jack, and he lives in Saint Denis, which is like a big industrialized city for the time. And you do a few things to get him back, and then Bronte also convinces Dutch to rob a trolley station, which goes wrong because it was a trap, and you almost get killed because Bronte set that up. And Dutch ends up going to kill Bronte because of that in revenge, and he makes preparations to rob the bank. While robbing the bank, Jose and Lenny are killed, and the gang is forced to flee. And at this point, Arthur is questioning his loyalties with the gang as well as a few other members. Arthur finds out that he has tuberculosis shortly after this, which is a fatal disease at the time. He's given like months to live. And the gang is pretty split at this point, and some are leaving, and others are questioning Dutch because he's starting to go a bit crazy. And Dutch makes one last crazy plan to blow up the bridge to draw the attention of the army, to send in another train so they can get more money to leave. And the Pinkertons find out where they are, and Arthur goes to kill the main leader to save Sadie, Jack, and Abigail, but before he dies, he tells them about how Micah betrayed them. And Arthur rides back to camp to confront Dutch and Micah, and they both betray Arthur and John. And Arthur sacrifices himself to save John and his family, and he has one last fight with Micah, and Dutch comes in to finish him off. And after this, Arthur dies from his wounds and his tuberculosis. Now I'm going to talk about the gameplay and open world of the game. Red Dead 2 is a very detailed and breathtaking world. The main gameplay consists of riding your horse to locations, and the shooting mechanics, the horse mechanics, are very good and realistic. And there are also many random encounters you can experience, which are always fun. farming, where you can be ambushed by other gangs or save someone from thieves or find random camps, and there's a lot more you can do. You can also explore vast open expanses and western fronts, forests, and small mountains, and I always get lost in the world. It's really open and it feels alive, and there are many things you can do also in Red Dead 2, such as go to saloons, go to stores, rob stores and banks, fishing, hunting, and you can talk to pretty much anyone in the world, which is really cool. Now I want to talk about the graphics and audio. Despite Red Dead 2 being a 5-year-old game, it still holds up very well. The game is very realistic, the lighting and reflections are phenomenal. The time of day and weather changes constantly in realistic time, and NPCs react to you when you bump into them and they fall over realistically. The environment looks almost lifelike and has been mistaken for real photos before. An example of this is the snow physics. The snow reacts to you stepping on it, and they have really good footprints, and it's very realistic. And riding on a horse through different environments is awesome and very realistic looking. The audio is also amazing. You can hear each individual footsteps, and the crowds of people in towns have their own conversations all at once. The ambient noise is very cool as well. It's very peaceful, and in the wild it's very good as well. It makes you feel like you're actually there. And lastly, the music and soundtrack is awesome, and it really enhances the big story moments. And in summary, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games of all time. It's aged very well for it, and it is realistic, and the story is very good and emotional. And I hope that I convinced you today to try and give it a try. Thank you and have a good day.